Hello to everyone who may or may not be here. Welcome back to the stream where we play non-violent games, games that reward the player for intellectual and or emotional engagement rather than for combat or any other kind of violent accomplishments. We're back with the Great Ace Attorney today. Sorry I'm a little late. Was addressing some sound issues. But it looks like everything's okay now. You know, hopefully, unlike last week, my computer won't just straight up die on me. So, yes, somehow I've fixed the whole thing. Well, not the whole thing. There's still a couple things I'm still working out. But for the most part, yeah, everything's functioning. Pretty much everything's been restored. Not all of it, but pretty much everything. The majority of it. After Mr. Natsumi's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between then and this morning?
Sorry. Well now, must have been about 6 in the evening by the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily as I remember, and it was completely dark already. That failed actor chap was out at the time.
Mr. Garrett noticed there was no light from his room or something, I suppose.
Couldn't summon the energy for anything much, so I just sat in front of the fire up here.
Let me double check that that's the voice I gave him. Come on, voice memos, where are you?
Couldn't summon the energy for anything much, so I just sat in front of the fire up here. It was after 8 before Shamspearian got back, and the chap was up until past 1 in the morning, I'll have you know. Suppose he met his end some time after that. I was asleep by then, so I'm rather in the dark here.
Well, thank you. That was very illuminating. Is everything alright, Mrs. Sato?
Well, I was just thinking it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Garadeb, you were up here in your room all evening, if I've understood correctly.
Not a big fan of stairs, not with this blasted leg.
Then, how is it that you seem to know? The precise movements of your tenant on the ground floor, I mean.
Ah!
That's a very good point. I can't imagine that you could hear noises from the ground floor all the way up here. Does this old man like to spy on his tenants? Is that it?
I say, I know what you're thinking, and it's a bully outrage.
It's a bully outrage.
I'm ex-military, don't you know? I don't go around spying on my tenants, why would I?
Then how did you know, Mr. Garadeb?
It's the gas, woman. The gas tells me everything.
The gas? What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you anything, let alone everything?
Well, as you're probably aware, the gas is supplied to the building by pipes.
Yes, I'd more or less worked that out.
Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside, and the gas company supplies gas to properties via the main.
Yes, I understand that, too.
Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I was to light the gas lamps up here. What do you suppose would happen?
Well, obviously the room would get brighter.
Exactly, but at the same time, The lights in all the other rooms of the house were dim for a moment.
What? They dim? Why?
Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual, and that reduces the amount of gas in the pipe for the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, mightn't it?
Yes, of course, because everything's connected to a single supply pipe.
Is that supposed to happen, though? It sounds rather undesirable.
Jolly good point. Fact is, the gas company's pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless, long worn out, and barely got any gas in them to start with. Opposite's also true, of course. Extinguish the lamps up here and they glow brighter in the rest of the house.
Oh, right. I see. So, by watching the flickering of the lamps in one room, you can determine what's happening elsewhere.
You've got it. You've got it.
Oh, of course. Because when people come back home in the evening and before they go to sleep at night, what they're guaranteed to do is either light or put out their lamps and fires.
Clever.
In point of fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above it use slightly different amounts of gas. Watching the lights in here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in the whole house.
Gosh, that's fascinating, Mr. Garda. Absolutely fascinating.
Oh, well, nothing to it, really.
And I can't really see that it's going to help us with the case, either. What I'd like to know is why Mr. Garadeb is so... what just happened? Why Mr. Garadeb is so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than idle curiosity. We know what that screen is hiding now. The aftermath of the fiery altercation the other day.
Don't suppose I'll be able to clear that mess up for some time now.
Oh dear. This must be a very difficult situation for you.
I'll say. People talk about twists of fate and whatnot. But this is a twist and a half. A rotten show all around.
He's clearly struggling with everything that's happened. That's an impressive collection of cakes on that fancy silver cake stand there.
I feel sure it was full of cakes when we first investigated in here as well.
Yes, quite right. Haven't touched it since. Haven't done much at all, really, since it all happened. Time's rather stood still for me, you know.
Oh. Time has stood still? Now that's an interesting phrase. I might be able to use that excuse when I'm next supposed to be tidying the office.
You could just tidy up, Mr. Naruto. Mr. Naruto.
These shelves look like they've been completely torn apart by a wild beast.
Reminds me of the Battle of my Wand, don't you know?
Ah, the experiences of a seasoned veteran.
Enemy had us surrounded on all sides. We really thought we were done for, the whole Balu company. We were taking a real pounding from their cannons, so all we could do is run for our lives.
Oh, I thought that story was going in a different direction, actually.
Well, the whole experience taught me one thing, I can tell you. When you're done for, you're really done for.
That's not what a lawyer who often finds himself under fire wants to hear. There's a good view over the wintry East End from up here. It's an oppressively gray scene. There's really nothing comparable in Japan. And down below, Briar Road, partly blanketed in snow.
And the pavement where poor Miss Green was struck in the back by that knife.
Thinking about it, this is the only room in this building that actually has a window to the outside world. Sometimes Great Britain really does seem like a strange land, doesn't it?
I suppose all foreign cultures seem strange at first. Imagine how an Englishman would feel on arriving in Japan and seeing people with a shonmage topknot.
Well, that's a good point. I don't know if it was pronounced shonmage. I don't know. You look very dashing in your uniform there, Mr. Garadeb.
Ah, that old portrait, hey? Drawn by an art student who used to rent the room downstairs.
Oh, you look so wonderfully young and courageous and strong.
Yes, well, the chap presented it to me one day and asked if I'd let him off the month's rent in return.
Oh, I see. So you did, presumably?
I bolly well did not.
Oh!
Portrait is a portrait, but rent is rent, eh?
And yet it's still there proudly on the wall. Good to see Mr. Gyarados' Medal of Honor still proudly displayed on the wall.
The inscription reads, "For distinguished participation," if you remember.
Yes, I remember. Because I remember thinking even I might stand a chance of picking up honors like that.
Wouldn't know it to look at me now, perhaps, but I had my devil-may-care days, you know.
Devil-may-care? What did you get up to?
Well, all in the past now, of course, and best left there.
Best not, I want to know now. Ah yes, those enormous mortar shells. It's quite something seeing them up close, isn't it?
Didn't you say something about firing them into the barracks, Mr. Gyarados?
Ah, you remember, do you? Just a little mishap that occurred during training one day. What are you doing firing on your own men? The captain bellowed at me.
I'm not surprised. A little mishap doesn't really do it justice, does it?
Well, one has those little incidents when one's a hot-headed young private.
Perhaps I should put some evidence that resulted from one of my little mishaps on display.
Oh, does the great lawyer, like the great detective, want to exhibit some trophies of his finest moments?
There's a single apron on that enormous cannon-shaped horse.
No, miss, that's a real cannon. I knew that, I was just testing you.
Piece of history, that is. See plenty of action on the battlefield, I can tell you. Now the old girl and I just enjoyed the peace and quiet of retirement together. And of course, she'd come in handy if the enemy decided to launch an attack again.
Is there a war going on I don't know about? Yeah, we went through all that last, or no, I guess. Well, anyways.
That's your military uniform, isn't it, Mr. Gyarados?
Well, ceremonial garb, yes. Been hanging on the wall ever since my retirement bash. Not in active service now, you know. Doesn't mean very much to me anymore. You could have the old thing if you wanted it.
Well, it might suit Lord Van Zieks, perhaps. An overly ostentatious outfit like this could be just what he needs.
Very tactful, Mrs. Sato. Very tactful indeed. Yeah, okay. We went through all this. Move. 21st of February, local prison, cell 9. Yep, nothing to do here yet.
This is where poor Green was shut down. What a relief she's going to be alright. I feel like we need to do a little more time.
Okay, then we have to, this is it. This is where we have to look. We must have missed something. But what did I miss? I mean, what did I miss? What am I missing, guys?
Ah!
One of the teacups that Mr. Shamspearian and his guest drank from last night. But don't go drinking from them, Mr. Naruto. There's bitter poison inside.
I'm not planning on drinking any, don't worry. Anyway, the cups are both empty.
That's true. So, one was Mr. Shamspear's, and the other must be the cup that Mr. Natsume was drinking from.
But Soseki-san wasn't poisoned, of course. Perhaps we should take these so we can examine them in more detail later. There we go.
Looks like you're having a good snoop around, eh?
I figured that was him. Inspector Gregson, back so soon?
After I threw that little Japanese fella in the clink, I went and reported this to the investigation division. In 5 minutes' time, this place will be cordoned off by the yard.
Oh, I see. Well, we'd better be leaving then.
Poor Mr. Natsume must be feeling very low being back at his cell again so soon.
I'm sure. We should probably go and... Holy fuck!
What's wrong, Mr. Naruto?
Out, out, brave candle! Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player!
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go, like, for this super overdone...
Out, out, brief candle! Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player! That struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. Now, how soundeth the next part? It is a tale, told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Indeed! Oh, happy day!
What the fuck? What? Walking Dead!
The fella isn't dead at all.
What was that nonsense he was saying, though?
I think... Yes, it was from William Shakespeare's Macbeth. A soliloquy from Act 5, Scene 5.
Shakespeare. So it was that the victim, Mr. William Shamspeare, came back to life. If the man had indeed been poisoned, it transpired that it hadn't killed him. He was taken by emergency carriage to a nearby hospital for treatment, and Inspector Gregson evicted us from the scene of the crime, whatever that now was. Uh, 21st of February, Briar Road.
Whatever do you think will happen now?
Good question. What a strange situation, Mr. Natsume. Arrested for murder, but then the victim comes back to life.
I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. It seems very likely that Mr. Shamspeare did consume poison, as we deduced. But was it an accident, attempted suicide, or attempted murder? Until the truth can be established, I imagine the police will keep Mr. Natsume in custody.
I suppose so. Let's hope it doesn't come to anything more than a night in the cells. Oh, what's this? What's that man doing over there? It looks like he's trying to see into Soseki-san's lodgings. But there's no window, so...
Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto?
Excuse me? Could we have a word?
Ah!
He just ran off?
feel sure I've seen that man somewhere before. Where was it? I do too, but I don't remember.
I wonder if it's one of the Skulkin brothers. Well, we've done as much investigating here as we can, I think. Perhaps we ought to go to the prison and speak with Mr. Natsume again.
A good idea.
_21st of February, local prison, cell 9.
Look, Mr. Naruto. Mr. Natsume, have the police finished questioning you now?
Local student, Mr. Naruto Esquire.
Oh, yes?
Where is he? Tell me, is he a ghost? Is he here to haunt me?
Let me guess, you're talking about Mr. Sholmes?
He actually calls himself the Great Detective, Mr. Natsume, not a ghost.
But his diabolic deductions, they're not of this world. They've left me. Ah, cursed! I'm cursed, I tell you.
Well, that sort of hurts.
Credit where credit is due, Mr. Naruto. You were heavily involved in the deduction too.
Yes, moving on. We have some wonderful news.
How?
The victim that we all thought was dead has come back to life again.
Now, in the absolutely worst case, you could only be tried for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsume?
It's terrible!
Oh.
Oh.
I'm stuck in this cell suffering for some silly wrong end of the stick. You did it, didn't you? Confess, you're a killer. Why the mustache? Constant questions.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Arg, that's selfish. Arg, that's selfish shyster. Make up your mind.
Oh, whoops, I don't know what that would...
Make up your mind. Are you dead or alive?
I don't know why I'm going Scottish there. I'm sorry.
Make up your mind. Are you dead or alive? If you were going to come back to life, why bother dying? Wickedly wishy-washy, William.
Well, it seems likely that Mr. Shamspear was never actually dead in the first place.
Ah, yes, that might make sense. And I'm pleased that he's alive, of course. A lively debate last night was much fun. I'd be sad to think it was our last.
Oh.
Oops. 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 Mr. Natsume, does this mean that you did see the victim last night? Hey, Len! What's up is that we are actually, like, playing this now, because, and so far, my computer hasn't completely destroyed itself this time. So that's good. And then what's happening in the story is that the guy that, that Mr. Natsume here was arrested for murder on charges of, the guy that he was arrested for the murder of, is fine, actually. And now we don't know whether he was poisoned or, like, anyway. Well, there probably was poison, but we don't know why it was there or, like, what impact it actually had. Was it, like, what did it do? What was it all about? He was just, anyways, this guy was just acting, and it caused just so much trouble for everyone. So we're dealing with that. You did see the victim last night? You met with Mr. Shamspear, didn't you?
I'm not saying another word. I demand to have a lawyer present.
Who do you think I am? Please, Mr. Natsume, we need to hear your side of the story.
Ugh. Why am I cast like this?
What happened? Can you tell us exactly? Sounds like a real crazy case. Yeah, So I said this in my server, and I'm not sure how many people saw the announcement, but, you know, I'm hoping to normalize not throwing around words like crazy or insane as much. They sort of contribute to a culture of casual ableism. And there's often better words to use anyway. So, so for instance, instead of saying this is a crazy case, this is a really weird case. This is a strange case. You know, stuff like that. You know, anyways, it's, you know, just keep it in mind, because, you know, crazy means something specific, and it's easy to throw it around in a way that can end up being just contributing to very casual disregards of certain things, like what, you know, anyways, it's just something to keep in mind. You know, it doesn't make you a bad person for using it, it's just something to be aware of, you know? I hope people saw that announcement. I should, like, copy it and paste it and make sure everyone's seen it. But yeah, anyways, can you tell us exactly what happened last night then, Mr. Natsume?
There's nothing to tell, but Miss Naruto Esquire, I'm eternally grateful to you for helping me with that accursed case yesterday.
The case that saw poor Miss Green hospitalized after she ended up with a knife in her back.
It's hard to believe that was only yesterday.
After the trial was over, I trudged my weary way back to my lonely lodgings. And that evening at past 9 it must have been, I visited Mr. Shamspearian.
So you did go to the victim's room then?
As we feared.
I didn't do anything wrong. I'd never been to his room before, it was the first time.
Then what made you decide to go?
I bumped into him when I arrived back at the house. We got chatting and it developed into a discussion, but he had to go out, so I bade him farewell.
That ties in with what Mr. Garrett had said, that the victim went out and came back after 8.
We met again later in the evening, at around 9 or just after, when I took him some nice tea I'd brewed as a gift.
So it was you who brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the scene then?
And I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you?
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet, who was the stronger? It was a delightful debate.
I'm sure.
Such a stimulating subject, Shakespeare.
And the debate became very heated, so you slipped some poison into Mr. Shamspeare's tea?
No, never, not at all. Team Juliet won, that was me. And when I left his room, the flamboyant fellow was fighting fit. I swear it categorically.
Mr. Natsume, you often say the same thing about yourself, I've noticed. That you have a cursed existence.
I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and in that time I've learned that it's no place for me.
It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture.
There are foreigners everywhere I look, and they all stare at me, they all laugh. And that's the impression I get whenever I go out. It makes me scared to leave my room. Which is why I've become a recluse. But even in my room, I find no respite from my fears. No respite from my fears. I've moved more times than I can remember, and then 1 week ago, I moved on the Brow Road.
Why? I mean, why did you choose that place? It doesn't seem very comfortable.
Because the rent is cheap. I have so little money, it spoke to me.
The rent?
Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room is cursed.
Cursed? Cursed how?
The previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there.
Oh no.
He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead, and no one could explain why.
Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that.
I didn't. When the letting agent recommended the place, I wavered. But I want books, and books cost money. A horrible history is a small price to pay. When I realized it would mean I could buy more books, I signed the lease like lightning.
Brave or blinkered?
But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible that room's history really was.
Hold on, I gotta do that again.
I realized how horrible that room's history really was.
Gosh, was it really so awful? How did the room's horrible history affect you, Mr. Natsume? What happened?
At first, it was just a feeling. The feeling of beady eyes boring into my back, watching me.
Do you think that might have just been your mind playing tricks on you?
No. My mind doesn't know any tricks. It was someone else. It's been one long nightmare ever since I was given keys to that place.
A nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean?
All the souls who have died in that room lean over me in my sleep and try to strangle me!
That really is horrible.
And now that I come to think of it, it happened again last night too. The very same night that Mr. Shamspearian was writhing in agony from the point in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by those miserable spirits in my room.
You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible.
Yes, you're right, I know it, and that's why. I'm already searching for the next room with a history to call home.
I think perhaps you should try to avoid accommodation with any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history.
Ooh, Susato-san knows how to make the man listen.
Of course, Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse on my room as well.
You mean Mr. Garrett?
Yes, he knows that if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again.
Well, that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near the place.
Ah!
Oh, sorry. That was the wrong...
Perhaps that may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps and his tenants' movements.
You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants of his let rooms.
What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps?
Oh dear, no. It's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please forget I said anything.
Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back as well.
What's important is that Mr. Shamspear isn't in fact dead at all. Once he's come around and he's able to tell us what happened, we'll be able to get you released.
Yes, please. Oh, I do hope you're right.
Excuse me, who's this?
I can't excuse me.
Inspector Gregson.
I couldn't help over there what you just said. On that note, I have some good news and some bad news.
Oh,
what do you want first? Always, every time, the bad news comes first. When hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle. Right, well, in that case, the good news it is.
Huh?
Huh? Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way. Then why did you ask me my preference? As you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shamspearian, was just unconscious. He's come round now.
Yes, we saw it happen in all its terrifying glory.
He's still being treated by the doctors, but we managed to get a written statement from him already.
oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume?
Oh, thank goodness. It's all over then. I can leave this somber cell. Sorry, no, that's not on the cards. What?
Why ever not, Inspector?
Mr. Shamspearian has implicated someone as being responsible for what happened last night.
Implicated someone?
Oh dear.
You don't mean... I'm sorry to say I do, yes. He's pointed the finger at you, Mr. Natsume. Arrgh! By sweet poison did he seek his joy in my life. That wickedest cat, if so second not survey. No! So I'm afraid you'll be appearing as court as planned. And you'll be wanting to make necessary preparations. Ow!
And so, once again, Saseki-san found himself having to take the dock in the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted, or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day, I would represent him in court, and do my utmost to break the curse that blighted him. 22nd of February, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. Old Bailey. This place always makes me feel strange. I seem to get chills down my spine and break out in a nervous sweat all at the same time. Well, I didn't think I'd be back here so soon. That's my line. Who is this?
That's my line! Good morning!
Ah, good morning, Mr. Natsume. Oh, neat. So your birthday's in a couple months then. Cool.
It was only 2 days ago that I was declared not guilty, huh?
Yes, we somehow managed to prove he didn't stab Miss Green in the back.
But now this! Another morning, another murder! And here I am again in this hellhole! Can't keep coming to court!
I'm beginning to think he's right. It really does seem as though he's cursed.
Mr. Otto! Mr. Otto, I'm afraid I have bad news. Oh. Mr. Natsume, good morning.
Yes, morning.
So, here we are again.
Yes, again. Judicial Assistant Mr. Okatoa Ascaris, what's the bad news?
Oh dear, you heard, did you?
If you come in shouting at the top of your voice, people can't help hearing what you say!
Oh, I am sorry.
You've done nothing wrong, Mr. Sato. Now, what is it?
Well, it seems that the prosecution in today's trial will be led by Lord Barak Van Zieks.
Van Zieks?
Ah, no.
The so-called Reaper of the Bailey, the most legendary prosecutor in the land. In the trial 2 days ago, he pursued Saseki and I relentlessly. Of course, by the skin of our teeth, we managed to pull through, but still.
Perhaps Mr. Natsume's acquittal in the last trial wasn't the end of the matter. After all.
Yes, I know what you're thinking. The legend of the Reaper that says, nothing can save a person in the dock when Lord Van Zieks is the prosecutor.
Oh no!
That even if the person is found not guilty, the accused will meet a mysterious end one way or another.
And we've experienced it firsthand. The man we successfully defended met the most terrifying end after his acquittal, right here in the Old Bailey.
Ah! Do I have to put up with those ice-cold eyes boring into my soul again? Cursed by evil spirits and now by the Reaper! Hell of petrifying perils, potentially!
Well, if it's potentially, at least you appear to have hope, Mr. Natsume.
Locum student, Mr. Arnold Esquire.
Yes.
I'm innocent, you have to believe me. You more than anyone know.
Don't worry. I'll be your steadfast ally every step of the way in this battle. I promise. And this promises to be a hard battle, I fear.
Well, the trial is scheduled to begin shortly. We should move into the courtroom.
Let's go!
Oh yes, I forgot to say. I'm afraid he won't be able to make it. Mr. Sholmes, I mean.
That's probably for the best.
Oh,
If he were here, I might be tempted to rely on his help, and that could be seen as a weakness. If Lord Van Zieks were to notice, he'd prey on it mercilessly. At least, that's my gut feeling.
Mr. Naruto.
You're right. Yes, you're so right. Oh, well said, locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire. Well said.
I swear on this sword at my side and on the spirit of Kazuma that it harbors. I'll show him what a Japanese lawyer can do. I'll set you free with honor.
Oh, yes.
22nd of February, 9:40 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord.
Readiness for the trial, my learned Nipponese friend, is not what the defense needs. What you need is readiness for your inevitable defeat.
It's not just in my imagination, it's really there. Lord Van Zieks has such an animosity towards us Japanese for some reason. Yeah, it's called racism.
It was some time ago now that he first became known as the Reaper of the Bailey, I believe. These past few years, he hasn't appeared in court at all.
Yet now he's back in the courtroom, though for some reason, only when I'm defending. This Reaper, with his curious disdain for us Japanese, is a prosecutor shrouded in mystery. Still, this isn't the time to be pondering that. I have to concentrate on Saseki-san's trial.
Furthermore, I now call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You have been chosen at random.
Back in the courtroom trying to look like Dracula. Yep, he sure does try to do that.
You have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to fulfill your duty? Absolutely. I had a feeling this Larkin wasn't innocent before.
No, hold on, that's not the voice I gave him. It's, fair play, right? Yeah. Fair play, fair play, fair play, fair play. Where are you? Fair play. Let's see. There he is. Okay.
Okay, absolutely. I had a feeling this Larkin wasn't innocent before.
I must say that I feel especially ruthless on days when my
Let's see. Oh goodness, I have no idea. Ah! Oh no 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 no! Okay, hold on. Okay, that's her, I think.
I must say that I feel especially ruthless on days when my head refuses to sit right.
Oh, well, I rather like how you're wearing your hat.
No, that's, I had him like with a very normal voice, I think.
Come on. What? Sorry. Everything will be. I don't understand. I mean, indispensable. Ha! Any criminals here will soon be wishing they never started something with me. Mr. Gilded is a pillar of society. Painstakingly. Well, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit.
Maybe I don't have a voice for this guy yet. Oh, well, I rather like how you're wearing your hat. I think the ruthless look is very fetching, actually. I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick. I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick. I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick. I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick. Yeah, I think that's sort of where it is.
I couldn't agree more. I need to take, yeah, let's see.
That's, that was... Let's see,
When you take. Come on. What are we waiting for? Is there no get into? Everything. I don't understand.
okay. I think it's,
I couldn't agree more. I need to take home 5 bob tonight, or the missus will go through the roof.
Oh, may the Lord show his soul light here, and lead his flock to a righteous verdict. The British jury system is so very different to our own, isn't it? It's quite extraordinary to think that the power of judgment is in the hands of 6 members of the public, and that the judge can only pass sentence when all jurors are in agreement about the defendant's guilt. Yeah, except they haven't quite gotten to the point where the jurors are supposed to be unbiased. They haven't done that yet. So, 6 citizens of London chosen at random, or at least that's the idea.
The prosecution would draw attention to the fact that the accused was on trial here about 2 days ago. Accordingly, where possible, the same jurors have been asked to return for duty today.
Very well, let us commence the trial. Lord Van Zix, your opening statement, please.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is not the intent of the prosecution to cast doubt over your past decision. However, the innocent verdict afforded to this eccentric Nipponese before has had dire consequences. Did the accused repent for his wrongdoing in that affair? Far from it. Instead, he used his freedom to perpetrate a most blood-curdling crime, namely that of the attempted murder of his neighboring lodger, an innocent Englishman. To explain the circumstances of the crime, the prosecution calls its first witnesses to the stand. the detective responsible for investigating the scene, and the accused himself.
Sounds like it'll be an uphill trial for sure. It always is. That's the gameplay loop.
Witnesses, your names and occupations, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard Homicide Division. So Seki Natsume from the Empire of Japan. My government ordered me to come here as a student to study your language and culture.
Mr. Natsume?
Yes, my lord, sir.
I'm quite sure I'm not mistaken that you swore an oath never to set foot in my courtroom again. I remember it as if it were yesterday.
The day before, in fact, my lord, but close enough.
Believe me, this is the last place I want to be.
Inspector, let's hear it from you first. Explain the case for the court. Right you are, sir. The incident occurred at the Garden household where the defendant had lodgings. In a ground floor room of the victim, Mr. William Shamspearian. The defendant has already admitted to visiting the victim all night in question. Mr. Shamspearian collapsed in his room as a result of poisoning by strychnine? I don't know. Strychnine. I'm going strychnine. By poisoning by strychnine. He was foul for one morning when the landlord, suspecting something was wrong, broke down the door.
This means, I presume, that the door to the victim's room was locked at the time of the incident.
Correct, my lord. It was locked from the inside, making entry to or exit from the room impossible.
Although the victim, Mr. Shamspearian, lives to tell the tale,
he very nearly didn't. The man was halfway to heaven when we first found him. I was first officer on the scene, my lord. And I have a photographic print here that I took the time to show how it looked.
Yes, a chilling scene indeed. The man looks very much deceased.
That's right. Everyone present believed that's exactly what it was.
Very well. I shall accept this photographic print as evidence for the court. Crime scene photograph has been entered in. Now then, Mr. Natsume.
Yes! Yes!
As the defendant, do you have anything to say at this juncture?
They're haunted! Haunted by evil spirits!
Good gracious, what's haunted?
My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. The tenant before me died in mysterious circumstances. A woman was stabbed by no one on the street outside. My neighbor was poisoned, and me? What about me? I've nearly been killed countless times.
Killed, Mr. Natsume? How?
Even on that fateful night it happened. When I returned from Mr. Shamspearian's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out and somebody tried to kill me.
You must always extinguish all fires before retiring for the night, Mr. Natsume.
But it's so cold, my running nose would freeze. The point is, I didn't poison my neighbor. Oh, why am I being accused of this? Why is my existence so cast?
Thank you, witnesses. I believe I have a reasonably clear picture of events.
If I could raise one more point, my lord. One more conclusive point.
Conclusive? Go on.
Fortunately, the victim, Mr. Shamspearian, has regained consciousness after his ordeal, and he has named the true culprit. The poison consumed by the victim was administered in a cup of tea that he drank on the night in question. tea, my lord, that was brought to the victim's room by the accused.
The accused? Good grief! Order! Order! Yes, that's the crux of this whole case. If Shiseki-san is innocent, then why? Why has the victim accused him? Well, Mr. Natsume, what have you to say to this accusation?
That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shamspearian's room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again! Never!
The public pump was frozen, you say? That's not information we've heard before.
That will do, thank you. Now, according to our laws, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses at least once. Therefore, I call upon these witnesses now for a formal testimony. I presume the prosecution has no objection?
None whatsoever, my lord.
Good. Then you will give your account of events on the night in question to the court now. Yes, my lord! Oh.
The catastrophic night.
It was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor, and I took some tea with me as a gift. We had a heated literary debate over a nice hot drink, after which I went back to my room at around 11. Ah, my tea was completely harmless. He couldn't have locked the door behind me otherwise, could he? Strychnine takes some time to have an effect on the body. People don't kill immediately after taking it. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands.
Yes, I see. It all seems relatively straightforward. Excuse me, but that testimony does raise one rather crucial point, I think. Mr. Natsume claims his tea to have been harmless. Presumably, though, the teacups have been examined for traces of the poison, haven't they? Why didn't I think of that?
Well, as it happens, no. We haven't been able to.
Did I hear you correctly, Inspector? Scotland Yard has failed to examine the suspect's substance? How could you have overlooked something so important? Isn't that the first thing you should have done?
My learned Nipponese friend is falsely incensed. The inspector said Scotland Yard was unable to examine the tea, not that it was overlooked.
Unable? Why?
It's simple enough. There is none left, not a drop. Someone must have been very thirsty indeed.
With current scientific techniques, it's not possible to test for poison under such circumstances.
Well, when you drop, that one drop does actually have to exist, funnily enough.
The lack of examination notwithstanding, it appears nothing other than the tea passed the victim's lips on the night in question.
I see. Thank you. The matter is clear.
Cast your eyes over the jury, my learned friend.
What?
You can see it in their faces, I'm sure. The recognition of the accused's guilt. Your client's fate is all but sealed. In mere moments from now, you will lose, and your compatriot will be damned for all eternity.
He's right. I can feel all 6 of the jurors looking daggers at me. But I can't let them beat me down. I won't.
Counsel for the defense, proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Oh, hold on. Let's take a look at these. This is the teacup from which Mr. Natsume was drinking. Yes, unlike the other one, the inside of the cup is completely clean. I suppose he must have drunk the contents before the tea had a chance to leave a mark. I always gulp it down, too.
Sorry, Mr. Otto.
Well, if you just sip it little by little, it goes cold.
Clearly, I shall have to instruct you in the proper way to take tea.
This must be the cup that Mr. Shamspeare was drinking from then. It's stained on the inside.
Tea does that, I'm afraid. Even green tea.
Oh, really? I've never noticed before.
You never noticed?
Well, I never leave it in the cup long enough to leave a mark. I like to gulp it down. Drink tea while it's hot. That's the Japanese way, isn't it?
Oh dear. So many people see they're the wrong idea about our culture. And most of them are Japanese.
Were you and your neighbor good friends, then?
Ah, no! We weren't friends! Not at all! Not at all! Never! Ever!
A simple no would have sufficed. Then, why did you decide to pay him a visit?
Mr. Shamspeare fancies himself as having a great literary knowledge. As a fellow scholar of English literature, we find much to talk about together.
Come now, no Nipponese can understand the finer points of English literature. Racism! And on the night in question, that was the topic of conversation as well, I presume.
It was the day of my last trial when I was acquitted. Sorry. It was the day of my last trial when I was acquitted. There we go. I just arrived back at my lodgings when I ran into Mr. Shamspeare outside on the street. That was around 6 o'clock. We exchanged one or two pleasantries, but it soon turned into heated discussion. He was on his way out at the time, though. So I promised to visit his room that evening at 9 to continue our debate. But did I have ill intentions? No, not one, not two, not any, not at all. Never, ever.
A simple no would have sufficed, I feel.
Then tell the court what did happen when you visited the victim's room.
Hold it!
A literary debate about Shakespeare's works, I think you said, didn't you?
Shakespeare? Oh, very worthy topic of conversation, I must say. Oh yes, my lord. Romeo and Juliet, who was stronger? It was a profoundly pleasurable ballet. Romeo and Juliet.
Who was stronger? I know I'm gonna regret asking this, but how did the debate go?
Well, we both agreed that we would reach a conclusion more quickly with a reenactment. So we battled it out in Greco-Roman style, naturally.
What?
Mr. Shamspeare had all sorts of costumes in his room for just such a contest.
So when you say reenactment, you mean you were actually in costume?
He as Romeo and I as Juliet. After a vigorous, wild tussle, I as Juliet came out on top. A victory I'll cherish forever. I dare not imagine the terrible scene of carnage.
The fact remains that it was you who prepared the tea and took it to the victim, correct?
I boiled the water in my room and made a pot to take with me. I'd heard that he was too poor to have tea himself, you see.
It's true. There was no sign of any tea leaves in the man's room.
I wanted to do something nice, to be friendly. So why is everyone looking at me with such suspicion? My tea was harmless, of course it was. And do you have any basis for that statement, witness? My tea was completely harmless. He couldn't have locked the door behind me otherwise, could he? Hold it!
Yes. Yeah. There was not a drop of tea left in the victim's room anywhere, was there?
That's correct. Anyone would think the fellow never had a pot of tea before. He must have licked it dry. Which is a pity, because one drop is all we would need to analyze it for poison.
Can you say that you returned home to your room at 11 o'clock, Mr. Natsume?
Yes, definitely! By heaven and earth, I swear it! The landlord was able to verify it, as it happens. And confirmed the defendant went back to his room by 11 at night.
And how is the landlord able to attest this?
He, said it was the lamps, I believe.
The lamps, Inspector? When tenants return to their rooms and start using gas, the lamps in other parts of the house flicker. Yes, Mr. Garradeb seems to pay a lot of attention to the comings and goings of his tenants.
There's only one key to Mr. Shamspearian's room, I know that for certain. So he must have locked the door himself from inside his room. The victim has confirmed that to be the case, yes. So I'm right! My key was harmless! Completely harmless! If you take poison, you die! Everyone knows that! It's not that simple, I'm afraid. Ah, what do you mean?
Hold it!
How long does it take for symptoms to appear then?
According to the coroner I was speaking to at the yard, 30 minutes after the poison is consumed. Then the victim suffers violent convulsions, cramping and stiffness, and eventually dies from asphyxiation.
So there's a 30-minute interval between when the poison is ingested and the onset of symptoms. There seem to be a lot of different types of poison in the world, that's for sure. Oh dear, death by poisoning again. It's always so awful.
30 minutes is a long time. Certainly long enough for the victim to have locked the door behind the accused after he left.
You can't do that. And it further degrades Saseki-san's alibi.
I have a medical report from the doctor who examined the victim here, my lord. It spells it out, really. The accused is the only person who could have done it.
Very well, the court will add this report to the court record as evidence. Okay. Oh yes, I see it here. Delayed onset of symptoms. Great.
Victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands.
Hold it!
The argument still stands, you say?
This is what Mr. Natsume has been saying, is it? The paladin drank tea together that night, so if there was poison in it, the victim wouldn't have been able to lock the door after the accused left later on.
Exactly! Ah, me and Mighty are innocent, sweet,
and innocent, I tell you! I'm afraid, sir, it doesn't follow. You see, strychnine is a slow-acting poison. In other words, it takes time for the symptoms to appear. So you could have left the room up to 30 minutes after the victim drank his tea. As long as you did that, Mr. Shamspeare could have locked the door after you got it. But no! We drank the tea straight away. The battle over whether Romeo or Juliet was stronger, that came after the tea. Do you have any evidence to support that statement? In my great homeland, the above Japan, we have a saying, drink tea while it's hot.
Sure, a proverb will satisfy the prosecution. I'm afraid there's no conclusive proof to support the defendant's assertion. On the contrary, there are sufficient grounds to infer his guilt in this matter.
No!
That's the extent of their testimony, is it? If I could voice a personal opinion, Mr. Naruto. Of course, go ahead. Mr. Natsume is arguing for his innocence so adamantly and so persistently, yet Inspector Gregson just brushes what he says aside. It's really quite infuriating. I agree. So we need to find inconsistency in what the inspector is saying, I think. I'm afraid so. As things stand, the jurors are sure to find Mr. Natsume guilty. As I see it, what we need to focus on is the poison and the tea. Now let's listen carefully to this testimony again. Yes! Let's take a look. Oh, wait, no, wait, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, let's see. Victim, William Shamspeare, cause of coma, ingestion of a small quantity of strychnine, toxic effects present 30 minutes after ingestion, huge likelihood of the substance having been mixed with the tea the victim was drinking, no sample could be obtained for testing. The poisoning incident occurred at around 1:30 a.m. on 21st of February, assessed from the victim's pocket watch that appears to have broken when the men collapsed after the delayed onset of symptoms. No container for the poison was found at the scene. Wait, no, wrong button, damn it! Stop it, just go. Sorry, I'm sorry, everyone. Hold it! Ah! No, wait, damn it! I did it again, I keep meaning to press the button to bring up the court record. And to present something, and I keep pressing press instead. I'm sorry, everyone. Sorry about this. Okay. I'm gonna press the right button this time. Okay. Contradictory. Yes, undeniably. You say it's undeniable, Counsel, but I fail to see any contradiction here at all. I think perhaps that itself is the contradiction. Indeed. Time for a rethink. No? Okay. My lord, there are clearly grounds for being suspicious of that last statement. I'm sorry, Counsel, but I fail to see why. Well, you know, I was just playing devil's advocate. Yes, you do appear to have something of the devil in you, Bizarro. Says the man merrily dishing out penalties. Sorry. Okay. So I was wrong, it's not these. effects on the tea and the poison. Nope. That last statement was contradicted in a number of ways, I think you'll find. In a number of ways, you'll say. That's right, my lord. In a number of ways. I actually gotta move on for now. Guys, have a good rest of the stream. Okay, have a lovely night, Len. Perhaps it would do you well to concentrate your efforts on what contradiction its time, Council. I made a bit of a mess of that. A number of ways, actually. Yeah, I know. And look, I'm working on this. I'm trying to... There is no tea ring on the inside of Mr. Natsume's cup. And I know they said to focus on... I can't contradict that. Let's see. Poisoning incident occurred.
Objection!
No. I thought maybe I could point out that the lamp was on. I thought maybe there was a time that...
Hold it!
Ah, wait, no! Damn it! Oh. What is it, Mr. Otto? This bar of soap. When we first found it, I could have sworn there was some sort of round disc in this depression just here. A reddish one. Yes, you're right. I remember it too. But now the depression is completely empty. Where could the disc have gone? Huh. That's odd.
Objection!
Nope, that wasn't it either. Damn. Yeah. Thank you, Council. That will do. I've seen enough. According to the powers vested in me by Her Majesty the Queen, I declare no further examination necessary. I believe the court has been present with more than enough evidence to pass judgment. As such, I will be requesting the final decisions of the members of the jury. Are you all ready, Mr. Foreman?
We're all ready, my lord.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will announce your findings to the court in turn, please.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
So, obviously, we're gonna try again. We're not just gonna give up there. Mr. Soseki Natsume, in accordance with the findings of this court, I pronounce you guilty. I applaud the judge for doing their civic duty and finding a swift resolution to this matter. That is all. Court is adjourned. Yeah, obviously try again. You try from this scene.
Hold it!
We need to get the, there we go.
Hold it! Objection!
No? I thought, like, the stiffness, maybe? Because his body was all, like... His body was, like, all flopped over, so, you know, I thought maybe the stiffness was a contradiction.
Objection! Hold it!
Can I prove... Can I prove that... I don't know. I just don't know. He brushes what he says aside. It's really quite infuriating. I agree. So we need to find inconsistency in what the inspector is saying, I think. I'm afraid so as things stand. As I see it, what we need to focus on is the poison and the tea.
Hold it!
Oh wait, sorry, hold on. I did it again. I did it again.
Objection!
Nope. I thought we could contradict what he said about it being a hot drink. Goodness, I'm just not sure. Let's see, after which I went back to my room at around 11. He went back to his room at 11. He went back to his room at 11. Poisoning incident occurred at around 1:30 a.m. Let's try this.
Objection!
Yes, finally! Mr. Natsume, you say it was 11 p.m. when you left to return to your room, correct?
Yes!
And Inspector Gregson, can we rely on the information in the medical report unconditionally?
Of course we can. There's no problem with that report, Sunshine.
Actually, I think there's a very big problem. Because there's a chronological inconsistency between it and the defendant's testimony.
A chrono what? What are you all about?
According to this report, the victim must have consumed the poison at around 1:30 in the morning. And yet, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, left the victim's room at 11.
Ah!
Yes, that's right. There's more than 2 hours of missing time there. In other words, if there was poison in the tea that Mr. Natsume brought to the victim's room, how could the victim have fallen ill to it 2.5 full hours after the defendant left?
Wah!
The defendant's argument is entirely reasonable. How do you respond, Lord Venzix? Pray forgive the discourtesy if my mind has wandered. I was considering what cuisine would best complement the contents of my hallowed chalice this luncheon. How could it have happened, you ask? I do hate to shatter illusions, but my Nipponese friend appears to be chasing a phantom idea. A phantom? Is it so hard to imagine the victim drank his tea after the accused had left? For example, at the time stated in the medical report? Yes, at around 1:30. Mr. Natsume brought the tea with him to drink together with his neighbor, and in Japan there is a well-known saying, drink tea while it's hot. And in my country there is an even more apt saying, there is nothing more refreshing than cold tea. The point is, if there was such a long gap, there may be other ways to explain how the victim came to be poisoned. Other possibilities. What sort of possibilities, Counsel? Well, for example, the man could have had another visitor. Another visitor? That's a very bold assertion, my learned friend, from someone who has nothing to substantiate it. Or the victim could have taken the poison of his own volition. You'll suggest this may have been a suicide, Counsel. Mr. Shamspeare has categorically denied suicide. The idea can and must be discounted.
Objection!
But he could be lying. Is something wrong, Lord Van Zeeks? I was listening to the sound of the carriage pulling up outside the courtroom. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Carriage? What carriage? It would seem that the key player in this case has just arrived. Hold it! Who's this? Here we go. Out, brief candle, life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Who, sir, are you? William Shamspeare, my lord. Alas, 'twas I, undone by these bitter events. I am the victim. What's he doing here? The prosecution seeks to call this gentleman to the stand. With his testimony, my learned friend's futile resistance will be utterly crushed. You're calling him as a witness? Very well, counsel. I grant your request with interest. I'm curious to discover what the court shall hear from the victim himself. Happy am I, Shamspeare, to regale thee with my tale of woe, my lord. But I still have my own tale to tell. My own tale of worse woe. I can regale the court with a tale of my perfect innocence in perfect English. That will do, Mr. Natsume. Let the court now hear from the victim. Whoa, who's this guy? Alright, so that's Mr. Shamspeare. But who's that other man beside him? Yes, I feel sure we've got a glimpse of that man before. That was the guy outside Saseki's house. Saseki's house. State your names and occupations for the court, please, witnesses. A writer of words so sweet, they do scent the breeze. An inventor of ideas so profound, they compose the earth. The unrivaled poet, the unmatched scribe, William Shakespeare. Were the great bard to be recalled to life anew, lo, what a magnificent man! Good fellows, I am he who ponders such a miracle, William Shamspeare. The name's Metaman, Adrian B. Metaman. I work for the Altamont Gas Company, East End branch office.
Ah, I remember now. It was yesterday on Briar Road. Oh yes, she's right, it's him. What's this? Oh, what's this? What's that man doing over there? It looks like he's trying to see into Saseki-san's lodgings. Is something wrong, Mr. Nardo?
Excuse me, could we have a word? Ah! Yes, we spotted him outside Mr. Garadeb's house that morning. And he's a gas company employee. What does he have to do with this case?
So, Mr. William Shamspeare, you are the victim of this miserable affair, correct? Oh, heaven, oh, hell! Do you command me to remember that sweet poison that discrossed me and crossed mine innocent lips? I subpoenaed him for the trial, with his doctor's permission, naturally. Hearing the testimony of the aggrieved will remove any room for doubt from the judge's minds, I'm sure. Behold, you have only to rearrange the letters of my name to see that's me a seraph, an angel indeed. Thus be I noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily honest of heart, as all heavenly angels be. Because there isn't a less contrived meaning in your name. No, not at all.
The judges seem to have been very moved by this man, I'm afraid. They're actually taking the seraph anagram idea
seriously? Thank you, witnesses, for your illuminating introductions.
But my lord, what's the man next to Mr. Shamspeare doing here? The gas man, I mean.
What, me? Well now. Allow me to enlighten my learned friend. You recall, I presume, your earlier impertinence? You recall, perhaps, your earlier impertinence when you suggested that the victim had another visitor to his room on the night in question, and moreover that the victim is a compulsive liar?
What? No, I didn't quite say that.
This young chin-stroker is here to controvert your wild claims conclusively. Is that not so, Mr. Metaman? Hang on, no. I'm just here. I hereby call for your formal testimonies. You will tell the court as lucidly as possible what happened on the night in question. One may smile and be a villain. Yes, it doth pain me, but let the truth be spoken. The truth of that wintry night of my discontent.
Okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna wrap up here. There's only 10 minutes left in the stream, and this is just sort of like, you know, once we get into the testimony, there's just gonna be a whole lot of other stuff to do, and it's gonna feel weird to leave in the middle of the testimony. So I'm leaving there. Yeah. So that's tonight. And I hope to see you guys on Saturday for more of Unavowed. And then what I'm thinking, actually, I know I said I was gonna do Oxenfree next on Tuesdays. Oh, of course, I mean Tuesday. This coming Tuesday, we'll try and finish off the Wavelengths DLC for Life is Strange: True Colors. But what I'm thinking is for next week, I was thinking that, and I have to check sort of the content of Portal, but I was thinking I might do Portal for the next non-violent game on Tuesdays, assuming that it's able to fit into my definition. I know it is primarily puzzle-based. I also know there are, like, turrets and stuff, so I'm gonna ask some people whether they feel it is part of that definition, whether the, you know, whether our goals have anything to do with, you know, that stuff. So we'll see. It's gonna be either Oxenfree or Portal. And if it's Portal, you guys get to see me probably really suck at a first-person game, so that should be fun. Anyways, I will see you guys on Saturday. Bye-bye.